All right, all right, all right. Let's talk reparations. Now, today's episode of Enemy of the State is going to be special slash Pitchfork Podcast. I'm thinking about calling this Pitchfork Podcast because I like Enemy of the State, but Pitchfork Podcast was my original podcast on YouTube. We're going to have a discussion about reparations. Do you agree with it or not? I totally agree with it. I absolutely agree with it. Make sure when you come in, you tap the screen and make sure you share this stream so we can have this conversation. I only want you to come up if you disagree. Right? Look at the welcome message. It says, do you support reparations for foundational black Americans? Make an argument. If you make claims, they'll be checked live. Please don't lie. Foundational black Americans are black descendants of American slaves. Now, you can call us ADOS. I understand some people don't like that term. I get it. But I'll accept it. Freedmen, black freedmen. There's some black Seminoles, there's some black Native Americans, there's some black people out there who are black descendants of American slaves. But I want to know if you agree with reparations or not. If you have over 1,000 followers and you don't agree and you decide to be a keyboard warrior, I'm going to ask you to come up. I'm going to invite you on. And if you refuse to come on, then you got to leave the chat. Because the one thing I don't appreciate is keyboard warriors. I don't want keyboard warriors in my chat. I want to have the debate. I want the smoke. I want the smoke. I want to see if someone can stump me when it comes to reparations and why someone out there would think that we don't deserve it. I want to have the conversation. Let's talk. Let's talk. Let's see if someone out there has a convincing argument to tell me why you don't think reparations should be paid out to black descendants of American slaves, right? And if you come with the typical comments, you're gonna get banned from the chat, right? Make sure you come up. Make sure let's have the conversation. If you can get on live to have a conversation with me in the guest box, I'm going to invite you on. Excuse me, I have a little bit of the sniffles. But the thing is that I want people to understand what's going on. Saint Stereo. I'm only inviting people on who disagree. I want people to disagree with me. I want to have the conversation. I want to know, right, why certain people don't agree with reparations. I want to know what is your argument against it, and I want to know live, because I want to see how well prepared people are with their arguments when they go around in their day-to-day lives disagreeing with reparations, right? So I want people to disagree only if you genuinely disagree and you want to have the conversation, especially if you have over 1,000 followers. I will invite you on so we can have the conversation. But I really want to have a chat with people who disagree. See, the thing about people who disagree with reparations, what you're going to find oftentimes is that not only are they racist, but the solutions that they offer are quite silly. Now, Foblitz, I'm going to ask you a question. Are you genuinely against reparations, or are you just trolling? I don't want this to be a troll space. I want this to be a genuine disagreement so we can have a conversation, so we can clear some things up. Now, if you're not going to be a productive person and actually contribute to the conversation, right, then can't do that, right? I want people to come on and have a disagreement, especially if you have over 1,000 followers. I want to know why people don't agree. I want to know why. What is your argument? What is your counter argument? Well, who's instructing these people to make these counter arguments, and why do the counter arguments appear to be so common? Like there's no original thought. It's almost like there's like a repeat and rehash, right? Let's see. I bring on Phobos. Let's see. Let's see what we have to say here. How you doing, sir?
How you doing?
Doing all right.
Basically, this is why I'm gonna like disagree with you. Well, first of all, what is your definition of reparations? Are you talking about getting federal?
Hold on, wait. I'm going to give you a definition, because see, people always ask this question, and it's a time wasting tactic. There you go. Merriam-Webster. There you go. So you can never ask that question again because I gave you definition right from dictionary, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So it can be the act of making amends, offering um expiation, or giving satisfaction for a wrong or injury, right? It could be a repairing or keeping in repair, something done or given as amends or satisfaction, the payment of damages, specifically compensation in money or materials payable by a defeated nation for damages to or expenditures sustained by another nation as a result of hostilities with the defeated nation. So it can be money. So let's not ask that question about what is reparations. You knew what that definition was from the very beginning, right? Right?
Yep.
Okay, so why ask me?
Because I was just trying to see, because of the Federal Reserve, the dollar is not backed by anything.
Sir, that's not disagreeing with the concept of reparations. You're talking about how we're going to pay it. I'm talking about the concept itself.
Well, yeah, the concept, if you going off of that definition, I can't disagree with that, because
Yeah,
that's straightforward right there. I'm not gonna hold you. That's straightforward.
but
But
that's
my
the whole thing, though.
yeah, my thing is, if they were going to give reparations, they would have been did it.
Right, and if they were going to end Roe v. Wade, they would have did it a long time ago. But it just happened, right? So things change over time, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Things change over time. Here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. We have reached a point in which there are things happening in the world that have never happened before. America right now is on its hands and knees in front of Africa, the African continent. They need resources, bad. First time in world history that the African continent is in a position to dictate to America. First time. First time ever that we had something happen that caused people to stay inside their homes for years. First time ever that we paid out a stimulus package that was larger than anything else in American history. First time ever. It's always the first time. You can always say something has never happened until it happens.
That's
You were
true.
never born until you were.
Yep.
So again, it'll happen, man. Don't worry about it. You gonna get your chips, brother, and I'm gonna get mine too. You gonna get
Yeah,
your
we need
chips.
them.
Hey, listen, man. You know what you should do, man. You should get your chips, man. Start a freaking business, man, and become the next Elon Musk, bro. Become the black Elon Musk, man. That's my goal for you, man.
I
You
appreciate
feel
it.
me? Yeah. Anything else, brother?
Nah, that it was. I love how you just broke that down for real though.
Right, right. But brother, I love you and I want the best for you, and I want you to get your chips too, brother.
Same to you.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and give you a follow. I'm gonna go ahead and just tell everybody to give you a follow. Give him a follow because I'm pretty sure you'd appreciate that. And you have a good day. All right.
You too.
Be safe, brother.
Thank you.
Yeah. See, it's very simple. It wasn't no hostilities. I love that brother. I love everybody, man. I have no beef, right? No beef. No beef with any black people, man. I love black folks, man. I'm not gonna come at you sideways unless you come sideways at on me. You know what I'm saying? Otherwise, from that, I love you, brother. Feel me? Nothing but love here. But the same thing though, same thing applies. I want to hear from people who don't agree with reparations. I want to know why people, right, don't agree with it. I just want to know. And by the way, Catherine Arthur, I want to hear from you. You have 6,000 followers. Either I hear from you or you can't stay in my chat. Come on, Miss Catherine. Come on now. I invited you on. Let's have a conversation. Let's talk. Come on. Right? I just want to hear why is it that so many people are so afraid to to actually voice their opinions about what they say that they actually believe. Because it just seems like so many people don't want to talk when it comes time to talk to explain their ideas. Why do you not agree with reparations? I'm just curious. And why does it seem like so many people want to hide in the comment section when it comes to this? But they're so vocal in the chat. It is fantastically transparent when it comes to people who are very much afraid to embrace ideas or even confront them. They say they want the free exchange of ideas, they want free speech, they want conversations, and yet at the same time, when you try to start a conversation, you see what happens? You hide in the comment section. You hide in chat rooms. When I invite you to come on, you don't come on. Why is that? Why is that? And the thing is that if you come back with some smaller account saying, "Hey, I don't have 1,000 followers, so I can't like hop on," well, then I gotta ban that account too. I don't want keyboard warriors. I just want to have a conversation. I just want to talk. I just want to talk. Smaller accounts, non-consequential accounts, you get banned from the chat. I want the bigger ones. I want the ones with over 1,000 followers. I want to have the conversation. I want the smoke. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. All right, so let's invite somebody on. Ada Boats. What's going on? How
Hi.
you doing? How you doing?
Good. I have a
All right.
question.
So,
I agree with reparation,
right. Go ahead.
but the only
I
thing
think
is,
you're. I think you're lagging
given
out.
the state of the U.S. government and what they do, it seems like Can you hear me now?
Yeah. I think
Hold
you're
on.
caught up a little bit more. Okay, there you go.
Okay. Now, every time that they have given, let's say the Native Americans, they seem to take back. And I'm worried that they might exterminate the whole Black community because of the reparations. You know what I mean? Like they're trying to kill off all Native Americans,
Well,
and then we're
that's not
next.
disagreeing. That's not disagreeing with the concept of it. That's more along those lines of a worry or a fear. I mean, listen, they didn't want to give us civil rights. They didn't want to
Yep.
give us a lot of things,
We still don't
but
have
they
it.
did it. I mean, yeah. I mean, okay. All right. Well, I can't be so bothered about the reactions of white supremacists when I know they don't like me anyways.
Yeah.
I mean, they were probably everything that you're gonna say that they were gonna do to us. They're probably gonna try to do anyways.
They will, and they do.
So I mean, there's nothing. It's like the you ever seen the Dark Knight with Heath Ledger as
Yes.
Joker? You remember that one scene where Batman had him dangling from that building, and he said, "You have nothing to threaten me with."
Yes.
That's the position that the black community is in like right now. You have nothing to threaten us with. You've already put us in slavery. You've always put us to do Jim Crow. You always put us through freaking redlining. I mean, what more can you do to us?
Oh, you'd be
You don't
surprised.
care.
They want our brain.
I mean,
I
we went through the Tuskegee experiments. Listen, we are past the point of fear.
Yeah.
Fear, fear is a very powerful weapon. You know, let me tell you. You know, fear. I used to work corrections, and I got out of law enforcement. You know, I went in law enforcement because I wanted to try to become a hero because some things happened to me as a kid, but I let that career go and I became a whistleblower. But you know, while I was working in corrections, I used to always ask myself. I said, you know, the COs outnumber the inmates. I mean, no. The inmates outnumber the COs like 100 to 1 on some nights.
slavery.
Why do we keep them in check? And then I was pulled aside by my lieutenant. He says, "Listen, what we have here is an illusion. Do you really think that we're only 13% of the population? No.
We're the
Do
majority.
you do you really think that what's happening in Ukraine and what happened in Afghanistan and Iraq with just small arms that we've been given? Because really, we haven't been giving them tanks and jets and everything. This has got like small arms for the most part, like rifles, some things, some Patriot missiles, some Stingers, things to take down aircraft. But for the most part, it's been relatively primitive technology, nothing that wasn't developed in like the 90s.
Yeah.
And they're defending themselves. They are beating Russia right now. Do you understand what that tells the black person who's well armed, or the group of them who's well armed? If you couldn't pull that off in Iraq or Afghanistan when the Taliban never had a freaking air force, what are you gonna do with freaking Texas? Good luck. We brought this country to a standstill in 2020, and we backed off willingly. Had that been us on January the 6th, oh, the results would have been very different.
Yes. Every
So
time.
they don't want to upset us right now, mainly because of all those trade deals that's happening in Africa right now.
I think it's all deception. It's
Yeah,
to act like they're complying, to accommodate as they're making up new ways to attack and
right.
take away more rights that we barely are hanging on to. If you
That is
notice the
true.
laws, yeah, the laws that they're putting in place, they're making it so that the cops could just walk in and out and do whatever, and they don't even have to defend you. I mean, the lies that they come up with to subdue anybody that's coming up in a leadership position, just small time leadership position, anybody who
Right,
has their, everything is monitored, you know?
right.
And then with
Well,
the
the thing is,
technology and the envy, the white envy is what's scary, the jealousy. If we get
right,
rid of jealousy and fear, we're okay.
right. Well, the thing is that we understand that there's gonna be a reaction when we get paid reparations. We fully understand that. There's already contingency plans just for that to defend ourselves. But the thing about it is that we don't want to hurt nobody. We're not into that. We're not.
True.
We don't want to. We don't want to even wish that into existence. We just want to get paid. Therefore, we can build things up. We can try to bring some justice, and maybe, just
Live
maybe,
our
if
lives.
reparations, yeah, just live your life, you know.
Yeah.
And yeah, it won't fix the past. It won't fix the past, but that's not the point of reparations,
But do you
right?
really think that the U.S. wants to move forward? I mean, we've never been peaceful. Even going back in European history,
Right,
anything that they left, they brought back. It's
right,
we want to escape persecution for religion, persecution for this, and
yeah,
then to become the oppressors. And so, and another part is also in parts of the black community, we have oppressors of our own that are their puppets. And so that's what hurts us is we can't differentiate who's the enemy and who's not.
right.
You know
Well,
what
the
I
thing
mean?
about it is yeah, you are absolutely right. The thing is though, is that do you understand that the summers are getting longer and the winters are getting shorter, and the winters are also getting shorter but colder. So that means that the earth is warming up, right? And you know that your complexion and my complexion, you're fine. But as the earth warms up, and as that more and more and more of that UV ray pours in over time,
Yeah.
you understand what's going to happen, right? Naturally.
Yes, and also with the addition of the chemicals that are added into this planet with the chemtrails, and you have so many, the food, the processed food, the
Yeah.
cost. I mean, if we don't unite, we're all screwed. Black, white. I mean, they just want to get rid of
Yeah.
everybody.
Well, I think that for right now, we can worry about that after the reparations comes, because the problem with reparations, and I think one of the biggest things that's been holding us back a lot, is that whenever we mention reparations, it suddenly becomes about, well, what about this group and what about that group, and then we add in all these other groups, and then the problem is that the black community, we never go forward because we have to share with everybody. And I know it's a very selfish way of approaching things. The problem is that you know my family, I've come to terms with this. But just like Don Cheadle, my family wasn't just owned by white people, also owned by some Native tribes, because I partially tracked my lineage through that. And so, when I'm in Washington State and I go to this Native
I'm from
American
there.
resort. Oh yeah, yeah. I actually went to this resort. I can't remember the name of it now, but it was for this conference. My wife, she's a court reporter. This court reporter conference, and they charged me an arm and a leg for the casino and the hotel. And I said to myself, you know, something about this just doesn't seem fair. So I'm not taking it out on everybody because it's not everybody's fault. It's not the common native man's or woman's fault because they don't control anything within that tribe. It's not on them because
Yep.
many of them don't even agree with some of the tribal leadership. I get that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to speak for them. I'm not going to sit and pretend like that's a reflection of them because I know if I realize even they don't agree with everything that's being done, I'm not going to hold you to that, especially if you have no say in it. Feel me?
Yep.
So like, but something about that just felt wrong. It's like you own my people. I've never gotten compensated for that. Most of them
Right.
don't even admit to it or
But
even like deflect.
even the casinos, though, I mean, it's mostly government, and they have, it's the same way that they took down the Native Americans is by luring others to join the white man's battle. And so the major, like Tulalip, are you familiar with it?
Yeah.
All right. Now, if you look into the reservation, the casino's doing really good. Everything around there is doing good. But you go into the reservation, poor. You're just poor. You just don't have nothing. And so the only ones benefiting from it is the taxes, the government. Uh, but other than that, the community is not gaining a penny. Just like the ghettos, everything is outside, never in the reservation that they will gain anything.
Mm.
So it's just that it's gonna go in the same path as my concern,
Right.
and
Well, the thing
that's
about it
yeah,
is
that's
that
about it.
I was always oppressed, but I can deal with oppression in a Lamborghini a lot easier.
Yeah, paying your bills
I can do,
too.
listen, listen. If you can give me the money to go buy a tank, I feel good about oppression. Then I can deal with it. Then you know what?
Oh yeah, you
I can,
can. You could afford a lawyer. You could afford anything.
yeah.
Yeah, you could afford your
You know
meal to
what? You know what
survive.
though? You know what though? I think that what we should do as communities individually is definitely build up business apparatus. You know, in the black community, that's one thing that I'm gonna push. When we get paid, let's build some
Yes,
businesses. Let's start
so the
going into
money
some
could.
industry because yeah, there's certain industries that we can go into right now. Like I was listening to Tariq Nasheed on yesterday. And a lot of people don't agree with him. Fine, whatever. But he said something that was very true. A lot of us can go to these cities whereas you had slave plantations and we can do slavery tours. We can give tours like actual city like actual walking tours. If you got a car,
Yep.
that's even like better, but we could be monetizing our lineage. You know what I'm saying? And that's one of the things that we aren't doing in the black community. And he's absolutely right. Like that's something I never even thought about. Shout out to him. That was a really, really good idea. You could
Yes.
you could have people out there giving tours to some of the historical sites and stuff. Like for example, when we talk about the Moors in early America during the American Revolution, well, you got some certain areas that are synonymous with those areas. Let's put some black people over there and have them give tours who have a direct lineage to the people that you're talking about. You know,
Yep.
that way you can make money, and it just makes sense. The same way that if you're a Native American, if you are let's say for example a Native American wood carver, right? People will actually
Mhm.
pay more money if it's actually an
Handmade.
authentic Native American who actually carved that doggone wood.
Yep.
So that actually makes sense. There's a whole lot of things that we could be doing right now, but for the time being, I want my check.
I don't blame you. I
Yeah.
and then you know what? Like I wouldn't qualify for the check. I'm all for it though. But if we could get a black
You break it up.
community,
Go ahead.
oh, if we could support the black community and then everybody else, the other groups that feel that they're not receiving what they're needing, and then we help them. And that's where the fear of the government is and why they divide, as they know we'll help. But if
Right.
we but we're also divided, and it's just we got to pick each other up. And if it has to start somewhere, and the black community is one that has been neglected from the beginning. And
Right.
even the Jewish that even refused to acknowledge that slavery existed. I've talked to a few people where they just don't even want to acknowledge it. Just forget about it. You know, don't even mention it because you're causing division. How are you gonna face everything in history and then go around the bush when it comes to slavery? And
Right.
so once we face reality, the history of it, the effects that it has to this day, that as a whole United States, but we're not united. We're just a moment, and we'll always be that way when the government has the upper hand, and you have the old school money that's controlling every single thing. They're the government, not any any president. None of these people.
Right. Well, that was we want to bring some more people on, but I appreciate your comments. You were awesome.
And we keep voting.
Oh, go ahead. I think
Take
you're
care.
breaking up a little bit. I think you're
Oh
breaking
no,
up a little
I
bit.
was saying thank you.
Oh, okay, okay. Well, I want to tell you thank you, and you were awesome, and be safe out there, and let's make sure that we support justice for everybody, including Native Americans, Black people, everybody, but especially the people who haven't gotten paid anything yet, my folks.
Yes,
But thank you so much, and you be safe, okay?
you
Make
too.
sure I give you a follow. I'm gonna go ahead. I do this a lot, and people this helps people channels out a lot. Give her a follow. You know
Oh,
the channel bump.
thank you. You
You're
take
welcome.
care.
All right, and you be safe. All right.
You too. I'm learning how to.
Okay. Let's bring on somebody else. All right. So we got some more requests here. All right. Let's bring on. All right. This guy here.
I haven't seen your broadcast for a while. Where you been?
Um,
Or have I just missed timing?
I'm not. I'm not sure. I talk to a lot of people, man. I'm not trying to be rude or anything. Like I probably just don't call you at the moment.
So I agree with what you're saying. The bad part is this, as you're going to have ignorant white people say that a dollar is too much, and
Mm-hmm.
then you're going to have people saying, "Well, that's not enough money that we're receiving."
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
that's the bad part. Um, but it's deserved what should be fair to be received, but we're going to have groups on either end not going to be happy, and that's the bad part.
Right. You're right, and that's something that we have to acknowledge.
Yeah.
I'm going to acknowledge it, but I'm going to acknowledge it for a second and then move immediately past it. You want to know why? Because when I made my channel, right, I'm
Yeah.
known as ACAB. I'm known as ACAB Devil, right? And I realized that I mostly target police corruption, and that, I don't want to have a whole discussion about that. But when you make that channel and you're a black person, you understand there's going to be a certain type of resistance against you at all times. You
Hmm.
get that, and you learn to accept that, because if you don't learn to accept that, you can't be on the internet. Yet I put out on average 8 to 12 videos a day,
Well, that's why
so
I
I don't
follow you,
worry.
man. I've listened to you. That's why I
Yeah,
follow.
so I don't. Yeah, I don't particularly care about resistance, because resistance is going to always be there.
Right. It's yeah. I just
Mm.
it's a shame 2022 and
It is. It is. You're right. You're not wrong. You're absolutely right. Because I know people on my side, they're gonna be like, it's not enough. And honestly, to be honest with you, I feel that energy. I
I'm
feel like
60.
some of the dollar amounts that are being thrown out is not enough. But I will say this: $233,000 in California. It may not buy you a house, but that can do something.
Yeah. I
That
mean,
can do
I'm
something. It
60.
can absolutely.
I'm a 60. I'm a 64-year-old white guy, and
Right.
I've seen a lot of shit, man. And I'm shocked. I'm shocked today, being 2022, and the way certain groups of people are being treated. I mean, this crap from when I saw back in the 70s and 80s to now. This is just fucking bullshit, man. It's the same. It's wash, rinse, and repeat. It's just I don't I just can't fathom. I can't fathom it. I just don't understand.
Well, I want to thank you for coming on, man. I appreciate you as always. Let me make sure I give you a follow. I'm gonna make sure I put out in the chat to give you a follow because I
Thank
always
you.
give people a nice little bump. Give him a follow. And I really appreciate you. I don't want to insult you, but being from a certain community and actually saying that because it actually does have some credence. You know what I'm saying? Like being from a certain generation and saying that because certain people from certain generations they tend to be a little bit more stubborn and more
Yeah,
stuck on things. But you're
there's a
not like
lot of
that.
white people are fucking closed minded. I mean, I didn't grow up in a racist community at all until I went back for because I grew up in California, went back to high school in Chicago, and all of a sudden I'm in an all white school, and I'm going, what the fuck, from where I just came from. I mean, and this is back in the '70s. Like, what the shit, man?
Yeah.
I go, Mom, what did you bring me to? Is this like the Twilight Zone? What the hell? But yeah, I support everybody, and there's ignorant motherfucking white people out there, man. You guys, and it's almost like I'm embarrassed for the
Yeah.
stupidity. But yeah, I
Well,
just
I
wanted
appreciate it, man. Listen, I appreciate it. Let me bring somebody else on because we want
thanks,
to just
man.
keep the show moving. Hey, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Thank you for all the support. Make sure you guys give him a follow and be safe out there, okay?
You too, man. Be good, bro.
Thank you.
All right, man.
Cool, cool. See, we got people out here who are actually, down with it. They actually riding. So let's bring in somebody else. Bring somebody else on real quick to disagree with reparations. I don't want you to come on if you agree. Only if you disagree, right? Hardhead Herbert. Let's have you on. Hardhead Herbert. Let's see. Hardhead Herbert. Let's have a conversation. How you doing, sir?
Good, good. What I disagree is the amount is not enough.
Oh, okay. But you don't disagree with the concept of it, right?
Not the concept, but it's got to be a whole lot of stuff that go along with it. Just more
Right.
than here you go away.
Right. But like the base concept of paying reparations, you're cool with that, right?
Yeah, but it's got to be some healing along with it. Like we got to have a whole thing set up for therapy and the PTSD. How you say that word? Post traumatic stress disorder that my
Right.
community is suffering from. I hear the young man say something the other day, and it really woke me up. He said, "We were never slaves. What we were was prisoners of war."
Yeah, that is deep. That is deep. I will
Yeah,
say that. That is
we're
deep.
prisoners of
That is deep,
war.
man. When you think about it, man, I can speak on that too because I'm a multiple time combat veteran and I'm rated at 100% and partially for PTSD. I can tell you, it is very similar.
Yeah,
It is very
tortured,
similar.
degraded, made to spy on each other.
Yeah.
It's just. But I think they should go through, and you can't really figure out, like, say, go back and say, well, minimum wage, because there wasn't no minimum wage back then. But how
Right.
much did that? Oh, I got another thing for you before I go. How much did that particular plantation profit from the works of these people? Then you cut their piece of the pie in, and you double it up for whatever the thing, and then you add a little bit more, and you keep adding until you come up with a close dollar amount. Most of us are owed something like almost 30, 40, $50 million
Right.
if we go through our lineages. Now I'm gonna tell you like this: you got your pen and pencil. I got an assignment for you. You need a pen and pencil.
Go ahead. The whole thing. I'm gonna rewatch this whole thing. Trust me.
Okay, okay. You ever hear of Smith Ridge,
Yes.
Johnson Ridge, Sugar Ridge,
Yes.
down around
Yes.
Thibodeau, Louisiana? It
Right.
still
Right.
got
Yeah.
it still got the big what you call that thing, Amla Bamla house in the back
Yeah.
with the big white horses and the 2 story uh and then they got in the back they got the little wood shed houses and they all of them are mostly green and
Yeah. I
look
think I know
real
what you're talking about.
clean.
I think I saw a documentary about this.
Yeah,
It's
but if
still
you ever
intact.
run,
It's
yeah,
still
if you ever
intact.
run Thibodeau, and
Dang.
a lot, and some people still live out there. When I was younger, we used to go roll pipe in Thibodeau for the oil field. And we do mud runs where they bring that cracked pecan shell when they want to plug a well, they pump it down in the well. And
Right.
a lot of people still stay in those little funny houses. And what they'll do, the husband will go to work, he'd come back at 12 noon, get his lunch, and he'd go back and finish off whatever he's doing. Because they're still doing maintenance over there. They're still cutting the grass. They're still taking care of the property. So
Right.
my
Wow.
people have
Thank
been
you,
through a
sir.
lot, brother.
Yeah, you have, and I already sent out a message. Make sure you give this guy a follow. Hardhead Herbert, man, you are an OG in this game. I give you nothing but respect. I give you nothing but love. Please be safe out there. We need you. We need you more than ever
And
right
we
now. We
need
need
you
our
too,
elders.
brother, to keep bringing the context about them corrupt people in uniform. When you bring some of that stuff, it's like, oh, they really is out here faking and doing us anything. What I'm waiting for them to see what's going to happen to the thing that happened with Ronald Green. You remember him?
Yeah, and that was involving Carl Cavalier. He was a whistleblower that actually revealed that stuff. That happened in Louisiana, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep us posted on that. I need to know.
I will absolutely. I've been following Carl Cavalier, man. That dude, that was brave. Because a
Yeah,
lot of Louisiana State Patrol officers have come up missing when they become
yeah.
whistleblowers, especially the black ones. So he took a big risk there. And that brother, he didn't even listen. Let me tell you how good of a whistleblower this brother was. And he's a black man. This black man refused to take a settlement. They was going to offer him big money, hundreds of thousands of dollars, to be quiet, to sign an NDA, and he refused to do it. Shout out to Carl Cavalier, man. That's a rider, man. That's a rider. He went to the media and actually gave footage of what actually happened to Ronald Green. He
Yeah.
put his job in jeopardy. Then he went against the union's wish, and then they immediately fired him and then placed him under criminal investigation for doing that.
Yeah.
They did the same thing to this guy named um, Javier Esqueda. He's a Hispanic brother. And it's this brother named Eric Lurie. He passed away because the police had harmed his brother. And he gave some footage, and they actually put him in jail. They put Javier Esqueda in jail because he came forward what actually happened to a black man. It was crazy. It was
But
crazy. So
you
yeah,
know
this
who
is
the
why we
commander
need
of the
some
Louisiana.
tangibles, man. We need an anti-black hate crime bill. We need a bill just for that kind of stuff. So these race soldiers can go to prison and stay there forever.
You know,
Forever.
after that happened, they put a black man as the commander of the Louisiana State Police, but he's only their figurehead. Uh-huh.
He's Barack Obama by another name.
Yeah.
He do the exact same things as the white ones.
Yeah.
There's no difference. It's not. I'm not trashing Obama. I'm just saying let's just keep it a buck. There really wasn't no difference. let's keep it a
Right.
buck. I mean, it's just
Yeah,
amazing
well, to keep us
that
from
that that
really
we.
looking, they put a black man as right after that happened. They put a black man. He's the commander, right? The head of the
Mhm.
state troopers called commanders. But if we do get reparations, well, what I like to see us do is take a 10 or 15-mile square block and make it our own. Put our own people
Yep.
in charge of the authority protecting us, and put that where you can't move in there and do that stuff. Because sometimes we self sabotage.
We need a law enforcement arm of the Freedmen's Bureau.
Yeah, yeah,
That's what we need essentially. A
yeah,
federalized law enforcement arm of the Freedmen's Bureau. Let them
yeah.
handle it. Any law enforcement issue with the black community, bring in the Freedmen's Bureau and have them investigate.
But
Otherwise,
they
we should
can't
have
bring.
we should have diplomatic immunity.
But if you decide to be a part of that community, you cannot bring little JoJo and Toto in and do their thing in the neighborhood and tear the neighborhood
Right,
up.
right,
We're not trying to live like that. We will
right.
have stores and hospitals and banks and restaurants and schools in a 10-mile square, and we'll be there for us, by us. So
Correct.
yeah, keep
I
informing us,
like how
brother. I
you think.
appreciate your
I
content.
like how you think, OG. I like how you
Yeah.
think. I
Got to get
like
the people out of our business, man. We got to get them people out of our business.
I
We have
feel you,
got to
brother.
get them people out of our business. And one thing we need too is our own water system, our own
A
grid.
100%. Yep.
Yeah,
Our own power. We need our own car dealerships. We need our own courts. Our own courts. That's going to be a big one. Our own courts. That we actually vote on our own judges. I
Yes.
don't. We don't want no more. We don't want no more Amber Geiger judgments. Okay.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
don't want no more of that. We don't want no more Trayvon Martin judgments. We want judges that we picked to judge our own people. Because when you are told, just like Malcolm X, he said it best. He says, to be judged by a jury of your peers, those people have to understand the social, economic, religious, and cultural background that you come from. It's not just people who look like you. Malcolm X said it best. You
Now,
you have to
now,
be you have to if you're gonna be judged by a jury of your peers, you can't just pick a random black man. It has to be a black man who comes from my lineage, someone who understands what I'm going through. Because many people who are in the African diaspora, sad to say, they don't understand our specific struggle here. So a jury of
yeah,
my peers is not a jury of people from the African continent. A jury of my peers is basically people whose lineage is tied to the soil right here. Because they
yeah,
can understand my struggle. They can understand why I would do something, or why I wouldn't do something.
yeah, yeah. Keep
And
up the
that's
good work, my brother.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Keep
All
up the
right,
good
all right.
work. We need you. We need you. Keep bringing the
Thank
truth.
you.
God bless you. Happy New Year.
You too. Be safe, brother.
All right.
That was hard head Herbert. My brother, man, OG. We need our OGs in the game, man. Only come on if you disagree now. If you disagree, that's the only time I want to bring you on, right? Disagree with the concept of reparations, right? If you don't like the way it's going to be distributed or something like that, that's a whole different conversation. But do you disagree with the concept of it? That's what I want to ask. Trippy, let's bring you on. Let's bring you on. And yeah, I want to see the
I want to
fruitless
say
girl come back.
I agree with reparations. I'm sorry, I know you had just said it, but you
Go
said it
ahead.
while I was coming up. I agree
Go
with
ahead.
reparations, but I do feel like there would possibly be an issue. So I know you guys have stated like we need to, basically build from within our own education system, our own courts. However, do you guys not remember Tulsa, Lake Lanier? They
Yes,
do
ma'am.
not like to see people. So when you do come together and you do make these decisions, we weren't the first ones to think about that. They've been wanting out. But the moment
Yes,
that
ma'am.
people begin to start working on those things, they will find a way. I don't believe that actually, what's the word? I don't believe that integration is necessarily the issue. Segregation would be perfect if we could verify that we were getting the same education and resources that they were getting, or that we would
Yes,
be
ma'am.
able to actually build without being interrupted or without issue. That would be fine. So I don't think.
Right.
And then on top of that, another thing I heard you mention Obama, so I was gonna hop on that. I was gonna say, we love they. I ain't gonna say we, many love Obama, but they forget Obama was the one that gave Jews reparations and forgot. What about us suffering? Can we eat first before we feed
Can I
somebody
can I
else?
interrupt you on one thing?
Most
I want
definitely.
to say one thing. Let's make sure we give her a follow. She's a sister. Let's actually keep up the black girl follow train here. We're gonna do the same thing here. Give her a follow. In fact, I'm gonna send a message out again, because the one thing I am gonna do here is I'm gonna promote black people on my channel, whether people like it or not. It's gonna happen. So give her a follow. I'm gonna type that out in the chat, and I want you to go ahead and continue. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. I was saying that Obama, people were, we were so happy that somebody who looked like us was actually able to be in charge, but not knowing their agenda. And I think that plays a big part. Everybody that looked like you is not for you. So keep that in mind. And
Yes, ma'am.
that's another thing. Some people, we got to watch for the spook by the door. We don't need you coming in acting as though you're down for the cause and you going back sharing information. That could be a problem as well. But the fact that people were like, "Oh, reparations," he's supposed to be doing all this, but he didn't do that. The only thing I can say positively, he allowed children to stay on their parents' insurance till they was 26. But he definitely didn't give to us what he could have gave to us, and he didn't give to us what we were expecting from him. I know there's
Right.
stipulations. I went to school for politics, so I know there's stipulations and there's things that were out of his control he could not do. But there were also things he could do that he chose not to do. And
Absolutely.
I think those are things we need to keep in mind as well. Everybody, like I said, everybody is not for that. So keep an eye on that. And even now, I saw the other day on social media, they were talking about, oh, his daughter carries a so and so expensive bag to the school. What do y'all have to say about that? I'm like, why are you guys surprised? You know, that That is a wealthy person. So while race definitely plays a part, there's also an issue with class. There's hierarchy. So the fact is, higher up people do not want lower scale people. We are the workers for them. We are the people who assist them. They're not they're not looking to bring us up to their level. That's not going to make their businesses thrive. That's not going to make anything happen successfully for them.
Right.
And I'm sorry, the
Right.
comment said, did I hear the question? I told him I was coming up at the wrong time. As soon as he said, if you disagree, I was already in the box. So I'm sorry if I'm taking
Right,
somebody's
right, right.
spot.
Listen. I'm gonna let you get this off because the thing about it is that even if you don't necessarily disagree, I'm still gonna allow you to get your thoughts off. That way, it's kind of like a channel promotion, you know?
Okay.
Because I'm not no hater, right? It's nothing but
Right.
love here. So go ahead, continue.
No, I was just saying in regards to that, we just have to watch what we're fighting for. And I definitely believe, yes, us educating ourselves and things like that is a start. But I also know that it doesn't stop there. If y'all remember, even a closer version, Jamaica Queens in New York was built off of all African American men. They
Right.
built everything from the ground up. They built the systems, and then they closed it off and said, "What? Nobody else coming back in." And we see now that that's turned into a ghetto. So they will find ways to, to manipulate, to try and bring it down. Not saying everybody, but we just have to be conscious of that. So that's all I'm saying.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. Listen, make sure you give her a follow. I want to thank you for coming up. What you said was very true. One thing that I did grab from what you said though, is that they're going to sabotage. And one thing that I want you to understand is that you're right. In fact, I 100% expect that. The thing is though, is that MLK before he left us, before he transitioned, he predicted what was going to happen to him.
Mm-hmm.
I predict within the next 10 years, I'm gonna be taken out
You
myself.
get to spitting that truth. I ain't gonna doubt you.
I know, but the thing is that I don't care.
Now let me ask you a question really quick. I also feel as though, and I'm just going to use this as an example. Two black brothers. I'm not saying anybody has to agree with me, but I also
Right?
feel like once black men hit a level of consciousness and they decide to spread it, that's when they become a target. If you conscious and you don't speak on it, you're good. But you conscious and you want to talk about it, that's a problem. In regards to Martin Luther King, I'm a more so Malcolm X fan, only because I've done further research on both, not doubting anybody, but I just feel like to a degree, well, it's not to a degree, it's a fact. Martin was being paid to incorrectly lead African Americans. He was being paid by the people we were going up against. So yeah, he was on the front lines encouraging it, but he was also being paid behind that. He had a stake
Who?
in misleading
Who?
Martin.
Martin Luther King. You saying that he was an op?
Yeah, I'm saying do your research because I don't want anybody to take what I'm saying off of it. But I'm just saying.
Oh no. All right. Well. Listen. Let's not go down that road
All
because
right.
I got listen
Eh,
on this channel. I got nothing but love. I'm not gonna denigrate no man that can't
I
defend
understand.
himself.
I'm not
Right?
against it. That's fine.
Especially not no black man, because
Okay.
I'm gonna give you nothing but love and nothing but respect, and
Mm,
we not gonna do that here.
okay.
It's gonna be nothing but love. All right, but I want you
Got
to be safe. Take care of yourself. Make sure you guys give her a follow. Please give her love, nothing but love and respect. Because if you give her disrespect, you are disrespecting me, and I would not appreciate that. She's a beautiful black sister. Thank you for your opinion. Thank you for your contribution. Have a great
Thank
day,
you
okay?
for allowing me up. All righty. Bye bye.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So we're gonna bring somebody new on. We're not gonna broach that subject because I'm not gonna touch that one. I'm gonna leave that one alone. The real Q3G, I want to say, or 3Q. Let's bring you on. I'm not gonna leave that one. I'm gonna leave that one alone. I'm gonna leave that one alone. I just brought somebody else on, and are they connecting or taking them a while to connect? Let's bring on Ogun. Ogun. Is Ogun coming on? Is anyone connecting? Uh-oh. Is my stream lagging? Ogun? How
Yeah,
you doing,
yep,
sir?
here. Hey,
So,
okay, man. How's it going?
Good, good. Do you agree with reparations as a concept?
Oh man, let's see. When you talk about reparations, and I definitely want to comment on what the sister just said about MLK. Eventually, you're gonna have to let me say something, man. And all right, let's start from the question. Let's start from the question. You about to
Right.
have me like, oh man, he actually tapped me in. Okay, reparations in concept, you have to understand everything that we've seen in the past 2 years. We've seen the 1% get richer by trillions, not billions, but
Right.
trillions. We've seen a manufactured inflation, big business plus banks working together. It is a reason Bill Gates went around buying up all these farms. So what all this leads to historically, this is not me saying it. This is not an expert saying it. This is what history and what the continuous cycle repeats. So this cycle we're caught in leads to a major devaluation of the dollar. And it's not just ours. Britain is facing the same thing right now. There are other
Right.
European countries that have been tied to colonization who are
Mm-hmm.
all coincidentally facing a devaluation of the dollar. So when you
Mm-hmm.
throw reparations in that mix, it's like, okay, you're talking about it, and keywords talking about giving us money now
Mm-hmm.
when you're literally about to switch over to the digital age, switch over to a digital currency, and in the process, you are
Mm-hmm.
going to do a massive devaluation of the American dollar like never seen before. And again, this is
Right.
not conspiracy. This is not me saying it. This is history. This is what happens after you have people throwing in words like recessions, people who are
Mm.
manipulating markets. But to understand that, you have to understand who's behind it.
Mm.
Who wants us to get reparations, and who knows that it will only matter so much in the grand
Right.
scheme of things,
Can,
you
can I
know?
can I just point one thing in? All right.
Yeah.
So I asked, do you agree with the concept? And
I
listen,
agree
brother.
with it
Hold on, wait.
wholeheartedly.
I want you to I want you to do something for me. I'm gonna pause something real quick. I'm gonna look up a concept for you, right? So this is something that happens a lot, right, on the internet, and people don't understand what this is, right? So it's a technique that people use, um, and I want you to look at this because I don't want you to feel insulted, but it's something
Right.
that is happening. This is something from effectivology, right? Gish galloping. So gish galloping is when someone puts out so many points all at once to the point where you can never actually respond to it, and then it gets to the point where it is used as a means of distracting conversation.
So I do agree with it, but I
Mm-hmm.
don't agree with the monetary amount. I want my original agreed upon amount, 40 anchors
Right.
and a goddamn mule. I want something of tangible value. I do not want something that is going to not exist in the new year. You can't tell me you're going to give me this
Okay.
amount of money, but you're trying to make the dollar amount flunk so that that amount of money won't count. You're talking about payments of $350,000. That money, that for one, that's the price of a house, and for two, that's also the price of a car. For three, that price is going to increase as time goes along, while the value of the money that you're talking about giving me is going down. I want land. I don't need that. I got family that came here from Africa to Louisiana, Yoruba tribe. We don't need, if you're not giving us a boat home, then give us land. If you're not providing a way for me to be repatriated back to the place where I come from so that this cycle in my family and my lineage can end finally, then I want land. And then because we know they're not going to give it, which they could afford to, but they're not going to. I would love for them to give me that 40 acres, but
What?
they literally turn 40 acres into new housing developments every freaking day while we sitting up here talking, actually having conversations about regentrifying our own neighborhoods. They were gentrifying the forest. That 40 acres big, the been regentrified. So that's what I want. That when you talk
Right.
about the
Right.
concept, I agree with reparations, but the money, I don't need a check. I want that land.
Right. But you don't disagree with the concept, and that was the biggest thing. That's the
Absolutely.
biggest
Don't
thing.
agree with that at
Okay.
all. Do I think they would actually follow through with it? Come on, man. And
They
I've
they
seen
will.
enough of your
They
videos
will.
and stuff. You say they will, but just let's take your videos in particular. You've already identified people in Congress. You're talking about people suit and tied up going to Capitol Hill every day who are members of the fucking Oath Keepers, dog. You feel me?
Right.
You know
Right.
they
And
you
that was the case back during the Civil Rights Act.
True, true indeed.
That
But
was the case. Everything that's ever been signed ever, that was always the case. I don't
they
expect. That's the whole thing, right? People, and this is also a thing that we've got to get over as black people. People are looking for the comfortable races. They all racist.
of course.
Listen, even under the best scenario, the best say that they give you 20 bajillion dollars per black person, they still ain't gonna like you.
Oh, well, for me, it's not about like, it's about survival. It's about, my kids and my kids' actually living and breathing and being able to have time to make things better. But when you look at
Right.
time in general, I mean, the last 100 years alone, yeah, these politics have made these steps here, there, but they're baby steps when blood is being spilled every single day.
Right.
It's almost, it's a
I
war
feel you.
going on, and we dead blind. And back to reparations, money will help so much, but if you still got an influx of guns in this country when everybody else is trying to get rid of them, all that money's gonna go
Yeah.
to is ammo and firepower. Some places,
Yeah,
I don't.
it is definitely in my
You
case.
feel it? You know
Without
that.
question.
You
Without
know
question.
this. So I'm for
And
the stopping the bloodshed because I want my
right,
kids to
right,
live healthy lives. I want to see their children. I want to live
right,
long enough myself.
right.
But again, based on if we just base it on just the information you're providing for your videos alone, man, you talk about a rigged system giving us something.
Eh.
Let's name everything they gave us in the past few years: vaccines, COVID, higher milk prices, higher
I,
gas prices. You
I
feel me?
mean, you can make that argument for the same thing for Japanese reparations, and yet I don't see any of them return it. But let's actually bring somebody else on. Hey, Ogun, make sure you get this guy a follow. I'm gonna give you a shout out in the chat, man. Because that
Absolutely.
does help channel. Give him a follow. Make sure you guys give him a follow because I don't show any disrespect or any hate towards any black people here. Nothing but love here, unless you come with that janky stuff. But otherwise from that, man, you've been great. Ogun is actually my oration. So I was born within a certain time frame, and Ogun governs over that particular month. So I'm a big fan of Ogun. I know
Hey,
and
I'm an
there's know about
artist
him.
and a craftsman, bro, and I'm just observing
Really?
time as it goes by. Oh,
Do
bro,
you
when I was
actually
in my
craft Ogun
20s,
art?
I found my bamboo jungle, and I began to feel a spirit come over me like never before. So I don't just go by this name. My spirit has
Right.
been reborn, and I'm starting to remember the past real clear. And that's why I see these things. And like I said, give me my land or give me my boat. One of the two. You
I
feel
feel you,
me?
brother. All right, well, brother, be safe. All right.
Peace.
Peace. All right. All right. Kimi, I think that's your name, right? Or is it Keem?
Kwame.
Kwame. Okay, I don't want to mispronounce your name. My apologies. How do you feel about reparations?
I feel that black folks taking a cash payout would be a disaster.
Do you agree
We,
with the concept of reparations, or you just don't agree with the cash
I
part of it?
agree with us getting reparations.
Okay,
Most
but
definitely.
that's kind of what I was getting at. Someone who didn't agree with the
No,
very
no, no, no.
concept of it.
We are owed that, and we are going to get that eventually. We are
Right.
going to get reparations, but we can't have our minds just focused around a cash payout. California is one of the areas where they testing at. Whenever they get ready to test something, especially when it comes to black people, they use California as the testing ground for it. And this little cash payment they tossing out is for that reason. You know what
Do
I'm
you
saying?
do you have proof of that?
Oh, definitely. Hold
I
on for
mean,
a minute.
okay, hardcore proof that I can look up right now.
Hold on. Yeah, hold on for a minute. But
Yeah,
let me continue to tell you about this reparation thing, brother. We talking about a cash payout
sir,
only. What
sir,
about the land?
brother,
We could get
brother.
more money. We could get
Brother,
more money
brother,
for the
brother, you made a
psychological
big claim.
damage.
Brother, you can't tell me about a dragon and then don't show me the fire, brother. You just said
I'm
you made
not
a
in a
big
position.
claim.
Hold on, my brother. I'm at work. I'm not in a position to pull nothing up for you. I just happen to pull through your
Well
page.
then wait, you at work on TikTok, brother?
I'm sitting there eating my lunch.
Oh Lord, no. If I was your boss, I'd come in. What you doing on TikTok now, brother? No,
I'm a
man.
driver.
I gotta ask you a question though. You say you don't want cash. Why is it that
Because
what is so fearful?
we're owed more than a cash payout, brother. If you
Right.
look at the ma'afa that we went through, brother, cash
I
payout, brother.
agree. I agree. I
If they
want the
gave
cash
everybody,
first
listen,
though.
and I wouldn't give a crazy man that's been mentally and psychologically damaged a bunch of money anyway, because he ain't gonna do nothing but mess it off. Black
That's not
people
your
are the same
call.
way.
That's not your
We
call.
are damaged people, bro.
Sir,
If
that's
you
not your
give black
call.
people, you're
Sir,
right.
you're not going
You're
to
right.
overtalk me on my show. Okay?
You're
That's not
right.
your call.
I
That's not
said,
your
my
call,
brother,
sir.
Allah for y'all to you and your family.
That's not your call, sir. That's very
Allah
disrespectful.
for y'all to you and your family, my brother.
Gert, that is how are you gonna sit here and tell other people that imagine for a second if a woman is a victim of a man. For you could kind of tell of a particular crime, right? Suppose the judge says, "Well, because you got psychologically damaged because of that, you're not going to be able be on paid restitution." That's the most absurd concept. That guy's clearly an op. Yeah, I'm at work. Yeah, the FBI. Yeah, the CIA. Of course you're at work. Of course you're at work, sir. How are you going to be at your job on freaking TikTok Live, but then lecture other people about the decisions that they're going to make, but you at work on TikTok Live? Mm, mm, mm. How you gonna lecture me about my life decisions, but you on TikTok Live? Lord have mercy. At work. Lord have mercy. Let's go ahead and invite somebody else on. Let's have a conversation. Reparations, do you agree with it or not? Reparations, do you agree with it or not? I'm trying to connect to somebody else. Let's see. Reparations, do you agree with it or not? I'm trying to connect to somebody else. Let's...
Can you hear me?
Daryl, yes, I can hear you.
Yeah. No, I agree monthly with the money. If you're paying
I,
us
I,
monthly,
I'm
not
asking
yearly.
directly, like, do you agree with the concept of it, reparations?
No,
Why?
because you come take my house, then charge me rent. Now you want to give me all the money back, but yet you keep my house.
That Do you agree with the concept of reparations? I'm going to ask that again.
No,
Why?
you
As
come to my
defined.
land. You
That
come to
doesn't
my land,
make
take my
sense,
land,
what you're saying, sir.
then
You're trying to
charge me
troll.
rent
And I'm
for it.
going to ask you again for the last time. Based on the definition of reparations, do you disagree with the concept of it?
No, as far as the definition
Okay,
goes.
well then, sir, you have to explain to me the reason why. You can't just make some vague statement like that. Because the next time you make a
I
vague statement, I'm going to disconnect from you. Okay? So you have to explain
well,
with your
I don't.
words.
I'm
Use your
trying.
words.
If you
Go
come to
ahead.
my land and take over, right? Then charge me for
I
rent.
didn't come to your land and take over. We were already here for centuries, sir. The black people, the African Muslims, the Moors, they were already here, sir. In fact, if you understand Africa to be the cradle of life, sir, you understand that? The cradle of life? Oh, he's gone. He left. Why did he leave? Oh, he just left. He's just trolling. He's trolling. He was probably somebody who's claiming to be Native American. You come to my land and take. Let me go and explain something to you. If you believe Africa is the cradle of life, the first person who came to these lands was black. And I know that really bothers certain people, but something bothering you and me caring about it, those are two entirely different concepts, my friend. Two entirely different concepts. But thank you for trying. Thank you for trying. Do you disagree with reparations as a concept? And if so, why? Why do you not agree with the concept of it? Tell me why. I want to understand, why do some people feel that when damage is done to entire communities that you shouldn't pay restitution for that damage? And the question becomes, Do you feel the exact same way about the Japanese community, the Jewish community, and also the Italian community? Do you feel the exact same way? Do you feel the exact same way about the conflict in Ukraine? How we're paying reparations, essentially paying out billions of dollars of my money towards a conflict that I have nothing even remotely to do with? How do I feel that we are protecting Taiwan right now for a conflict that I have nothing to do with? You know? How do I feel paying for a conflict potentially over in India that I have nothing to do with? How do I feel about paying for the security of Germany and the UK? We got bases and posts over there. Why do I care about that? Why do I care about their security? That has absolutely 1000% nothing at all to do with me. You pay reparations every day, America. Pay what you owe to the black descendants of American slaves, the people who you have offended, you have punished, and you have subjugated the most in this country, and you have paid the least. You have paid the least. Paid the least. Right now, as we speak, you got people saying, well, why should we pay for damages? Why should I pay? Why should I pay cash for things that I had nothing to do with? Meanwhile, we just announced another $40 billion for Ukraine. You know that actual defense spending bill? It's actually in the defense spending bill. Another $40 billion for Ukraine. You know, part of the VA's budget, for our veterans, for our actual veterans, part of that budget comes from the actual defense bill, the actual defense spending. Part of that comes from that. A very small part, a very tiny part, but a part nonetheless. So that 40 billion that went to a conflict that I have zero to do with, you can make trade deals with the African continent. You don't need Russia. So why are we even interfering with this conflict? Why do we care about what happens to that other country? Why? Because they're white. You're taking my money and doing that right now. Meanwhile, you're telling me that my people who have suffered the most, we are the face, the face, the face of the people who should be paid the most. Internationally, we are the face of every culture out there. Everybody copies and emulates us. And you know it. Our music, our swag, our culture, our inventions, our innovations, our studying, our thoughts, even down to how we speak. Our catchphrases. You stole all that. You took everything you can take from us. And you give money to the Ukrainians, Israel, Asia, Europe, even the African continent now, because you need resources, because old Vladimir over there, he's cutting down resources now. And now you tell me that my folks don't deserve our chips. Why? Because you got a problem with black people? Well, let me go ahead and tell you something. You didn't want to do the Civil Rights Act either. You didn't want to end slavery either. You didn't want to do a whole lot of stuff. But when it comes to the point, there comes a point in time in which black folks have ways of making you capitulate. Like the whole no vote campaign. Yeah, that worked out pretty well. Us deciding to liberate ourselves, that worked out pretty well. When we get tired of race soldiers harming our people, we tend to react. See, that's why they don't want black Americans in other countries, because we inspire people. We're lightning rods, and everyone knows it. This is why everybody out there who ain't black, they want black Americans on their side. Notice how whenever I put out content, you get these other content creators who ain't black come in and say, well, maybe you can do this, or maybe you can speak up for this group and that group and that group. Why do you care? Because you know we are the energy, baby. That's why. Despite our suffering, we're still here, and you gonna pay what you owe. No, we ain't talking about nothing, no hostile stuff, or no. We have ways of doing this completely legally. You will pay what you owe. Because time's running out. 2040 is fastly approaching. That sun is blazing hot. And that's when we're going to see who's the real supreme. Let's bring on some more guests here. Let's bring on some more guests. Take a little intermission to preach a little bit from the Church of ACAB. I want to preach a little bit from Church of ACAB. All right. Mr. Joshua 2019. Mr. Joshua 2019. I want to know if you agree or disagree with the concept of reparations or not. And I want to know if you agree with it and why or why not. That's all.
Well, I don't agree with it. Just the simple fact is I wasn't a slave owner. Y'all weren't slaves. So why do I have to pay back for what ancestors done?
Interesting.
It's
so
like somebody
I tell you, I heard you. Do you ask me a question, or is this like a continuous statement?
Do what?
Did you ask me a question, or was this like a continuous statement?
It was just a continuous statement because basically what it boils down to, it's like somebody robs a bank and they get caught. Well, somebody that wasn't involved in it gets the benefits from it.
Right. So let me go ahead and stop you there. You made several statements. Number one, the concept of paying for damages, even though you weren't involved, that is a very false claim. I pay for things that I have nothing to do with all the time, and we're not going to debate that. That's a fact. I just mentioned Ukraine, right? I'm not. Are you Ukrainian or Russian? Okay, then you're paying for that right now. But you have nothing. No. But you have nothing to do with that. So that's first point debunked. Second point. I was you were never a slave and I was never a slave. Well, once again, the thing is that I never held Japanese people in internment camps, but my mother and my father paid taxes on that. So the only way I'm going to hear your counter opinion on that is if you compensate them on that, because that's called putting your money where your mouth is. Third point is that you say, well, if someone robs a bank, the other person isn't punished for it. That's not true, because when there's a rise in crime, police ask for more federal funding, which is tax funding that I pay. All 3 points debunked in under 30 seconds. You may continue.
Well, you're throwing in taxation and everything into the debunking.
Yes. That's asking for more money from the comparison. When reparations are paid, it's gonna be paid in tax money, right? I just did a head-to-head comparison of things that I pay for, that I have nothing to do with, and things that happened a long time ago. Like, for example, we are honoring trade deals and treaties that were made centuries ago. I wasn't even alive.
Yeah, but who's getting paid for anything from centuries ago? I'm not.
The people who are getting the benefits. So
you mean
if they
like,
get benefits, I want the exact same benefits. Why are you so against the idea of black people who are citizens of this country here getting paid over Israel?
I'm against people getting stuff because
you're not allowed to say I don't agree with that either, because you're not in a chat currently arguing against that. You're currently in a chat arguing against me. So we're gonna focus on me right now, because you're in my chat.
I am in your chat. But
right.
I'm against, giving out more free money.
Why are you? I just named multiple functions in which we pay other countries for things that we have nothing to do with, and you have offered no resistance for that. You haven't even made a statement. You're fine with that, just so long as it doesn't benefit us. You have to do a lot of personal self-reflection, man. Listen, I'm not trying to be mean to you.
I don't give out free money for shit.
Listen to me. Listen to me. I'm telling you, there's a psychological thing that happens to people. When you see a group as a permanent underclass, right? You don't feel that they actually deserve anything. This is why you're offering such resistance, even though it's illogical based on what I just said. You just said, "Hey, why should I pay for things that I have nothing
You're
to do with?"
You're throwing stuff out there as being a part of the race situation.
Sir, because
I don't agree with giving away free money to anybody.
Sir, I'm speaking. Don't interrupt me. Now you made several statements, sir. A lot of statements. Those deserve thorough answers. I'm giving you thorough answers, sir. When you say things like, "Well, why should I pay for this?" Essentially, what you're saying is, why should I pay for things that I have nothing to do with? I just said I'm not Ukrainian or Russian. I asked you the same question. You said I'm not either. But we're both paying for that, whether we like it or not. So whether you like it or not, cut the check to my people.
And there you're
Is
throwing
that
into
is
your
that not
race.
is that not a fair head-to-head standard?
You're wanting to send out checks to black people, right? For being
That's not what I
slaves
said.
in the history. That's
That's
what
not
it's
what I said.
boiling down to. You're
That's not
paying
what I
for
said.
our. Okay, what's
Sir,
it saying?
sir, I'm going to ask you one more time. Do you pay for things that you have nothing to do with right now?
Well, yeah, I pay for taxes.
Sir, I need you to answer a yes or no. Do you pay for things that you have nothing to do with right now?
Yes.
Do you based on that yes that you just gave, do you think it's logical to even bring up why should I pay for things based on things that I wasn't engaged in? Yes or
If
no?
you're breaking down into that,
No,
circumstances, then
sir. I need a yes or no. See, I have to actually break it down to an elementary level.
you have
Because
to
I
ask
see
me.
that the high brain, big brain talk doesn't work. So I want to break it down to simple words, less than 10 words per sentence. Do you understand what I'm saying? Based on that yes, based on solely on the yes that you just gave me, the yes that you just gave me. Why saying that I don't want to pay for things that I wasn't engaged in? Why that's illogical? Yes or no?
It is illogical.
Okay, that wasn't a yes or no, but I'll take that. Now, this is why conversations break down, right? Because when I was trying to explain this to people, and whenever black people try to explain this to people, they go out of their way to not get the point. You understood the point the first time. You just wanted to argue. You have to get over that, man. You have to really, really do some self-reflection and introspection. And trust me, I do the same thing all the time, right? It's not just you. There's a resistance to black people getting stuff that you don't like, man. And it's okay to admit that. You're not gonna be perfect. I don't expect that.
You're
But
damn
I
right it
do
upsets
expect
me.
you to actually have some growth and learn from this experience. I didn't just come on here and just cook you for nothing. All right. You thought you were gonna come on and found some weak-minded black person that you're gonna just be able to dominate.
I never said you're a
And the thing
weak-minded
is,
black person, sir.
no. And,
You're
and
putting
and
words in my mouth.
even when I put a little bit of resistance, I didn't even try hard here. I just simply used your own words against you. I made you repeat your own words. Now, when you watch the recording of this that I'm gonna post, I want you to watch that. I made you repeat your own words and defeated you, sir. And show that you were just against the concept of us getting paid, not anyone else, just us.
No, if you actually listen, I am against giving out so-called
Sir,
free money to everybody.
sir, I asked you
I
this
was
question
against
already.
the stimulus
I
checks.
asked you this question already. You've already conceded. I pay it all the time, and you've already justified it, sir.
I do pay it all the time. I pay taxes. I pay for everybody's,
And I asked you a
government
question,
assisted
sir. Why
checks.
is it that you are in a chat arguing about reparations when it hasn't even been paid out versus protesting something that is actively happening right now? Which lets you know it's not the taxes being paid that you are against. It's us getting paid. Your actions
No,
is what's
you
showing
asked me
that.
the question
I'm
about
using your
that.
words and your actions against you, and that's why you're having a hard time refuting me.
You asked me that question, if I
This
agreed
is
with that
called
or
being on
not.
the hot seat, sir.
And I said I did not agree with it.
Listen. So the debate tactic that I just used against you, this is called hot plating. This is when you take someone else's point and you allow them to cook themselves.
I understand that.
Right. So I allowed you to cook yourself with your own words and your actions. If you are so against all this stuff, why are you against a concept that for right now hasn't even happened? You're paying money to Ukraine right now. I understand that, and I'm speaking out against it. Why aren't you right now? Where's your live stream, sir?
I don't have a
guarantee you,
live stream
I
going.
guarantee you, if I look in your channel right now, there's no videos about Ukraine. I guarantee you. I'll bet you money right now. Zero.
There ain't none about Ukraine right now.
Exactly, because you're not against the concept of us getting money to white countries, just money to Black Americans.
No, that's not what I said.
How long have you been on TikTok, sir?
Since about 19.
Oh, 2019. So in all that time, you couldn't find a single time to put out a single video about all the spending in Ukraine. But here you are, live on air with a black person arguing about reparations, something that hasn't even happened yet. You're cooking yourself, sir.
Nah,
it's pretty bad.
You're cooking me for me.
Nah,
you're cooking myself for you.
No. All right, man. Listen, it was great, man. I appreciate this. This is a great warm up. You have a great day. All right. You have a great day, man. Be safe, man. Be safe, man. You have a blessed day. Lord have mercy. Listen. This is why people don't actually, when I'm actually in a good mental state, people do not want to debate me seriously. Because I'll let you cook you. I'll let you cook you. See, people don't realize that when they see my videos and everything else, they always think that, I take a very simple approach to how I make my videos. I use very simple words. I don't use very, very big words. I try to be very simple, but I have a very high IQ. I'm college educated. I'm not stupid. And you just saw it. So that's going to be it for my show today. You guys be safe. Horns up, peace out, good night, and good luck.